What's going on, everybody? It's CryptoVision here, back again with another crypto market update. Today's video, we're going to be checking out Litecoin per free member request through the Discord. So if you like today's video, hit that like button, subscribe for more. Let's get into it. Side note, if you're interested in the free Discord, it'll be in the description below. And also, there is a paid Patreon membership if you're interested. All the details are in the description below. So Litecoin here. We have, it looks pretty similar actually to what coin was I just looking at? I can't even remember, but it has a clear, Litecoin came up in a clear three-wave move for a B wave. I do like that. I like that. So you have your A, you have your B, right, and then you have your C. I was kind of talking about this in terms of XRP, regardless of what's going to happen, right? Regardless of what's going to happen, this did end up closing all the way down and being the end of the run. But either way, you typically get something like this where you get a retracement, right? You get a retracement, you get something, right? So you have your A, you have your B, and then you've come down in a C, okay? Down through here at the bottom, right? This does look like a 1, so you have a 1. Then you kind of have your A, B, C so you have a 1, 2. And you've revved up again for another 1. Coming down for another 2. Right? So you have a 1, 2, 1, 2 going on. Okay? You're making, somewhat. Oh my gosh, my line is terrible. Oh my gosh, my line is so terrible. I was going to say you're making higher lows. Somewhat higher lows, right? You're making higher lows. Something like down through there. So that looks good. Litecoin looks fairly good, if I'm being honest. If I'm looking for somewhere to bounce from, possibly you come back down through here. This does kind of look bearish, I'm not going to lie. That kind of looks bearish. Just looks like it just wants a little bit more. How much more? How much more? Another 10%? I think you can do another 10%. I think you can do another 10%, right? So in my opinion, for this C wave, right, you have this, luxurious 1, 2. You could possibly have a 1, 2. You have your 3, 4, 5. Okay, clear 5-wave move. I do like how on the 4th wave you came all the way back up. We'll take some measurements to make sure everything is good. But I do like that. I like that. And people say that we had an alt season. No, this is just these are just setups, ladies and gentlemen. This is just a setup. This is a crazy setup, if I'm being honest. So honestly, let me throw something like a horizontal ray right through there. Almost, right? Let me see. Yeah, that's why I want it right there. That's where I want it. That's the way I want it. Da, 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 da. I mean, that goes into like September. That goes in like 20. That goes on for a while, right? That goes on for a while. That's not for a long time, right? To actually to have the decision to break out. I just kind of wanted to see, but this is definitely a key level. This 130. Right, getting above and closing above that 130 is huge. This thing can meander for a while, I guess, in here, do something in here. Regardless, if you do decide to get another 1, 2, you're gonna get another 1, 2 in here. I mean, you can really get another 1, 2. And then you can go. You can just get a bunch of 1, 2s, just 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then when you do go, it's going to be it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. I think Litecoin is just in a box right now. It's just in a box, just trying to get out. Nope, trying to get out. I'm out. And when you're out, I think it's going to shock the world. Litecoin, XLM looks like this on a bigger stage. Right, I know Litecoin and XLM, they're very similar, but I think XLM has a larger potential for this, right? Larger potential, years since 2018, XLM's been doing something like this. That's my pitch for XLM, though. This is a Litecoin video. On the weekly, right, the EMA is a 20. Looks like it wants to cross down below. That's not a good sign. right? Typically not a good sign. Right, you had something like that here where you tanked. Right, but that's in a different scenario. Right, that's at the end of a bull market. Right, where's your bull market that you got into? This is a bull market. It's not a bull market, ladies and gentlemen. That's a 1-2 setup. So I think it's going to be something where you get something like this, possibly. Down through here. You get a little bit more to the downside. A little bit more. Get a rally, and then you start to go. I don't see the apples to apples for when the EMAs cross through here. Down through here. Where were they? Right there. In terms of what the price is recovering from, right? The price is recovering from doing a pardon me, still getting over a cold. 1,200% move, right? 1,200% move. What is this recovering from? Doing a 100%, 200% move, right? So 6 times less the move. So, I'm not buying what so the charts are saying one thing, right? If you're only looking at charts, if you're not thinking about the macro economics of the entire world, but the United States, if you're not looking at, what has transpired, right? What we're really looking at and comparing things to, this is not the same as this, right? It's not the same, right? The amount of intensity and volume, it's not the same. It's been a Bitcoin bull market. And then everything else is kind of just, it's kind of ran. It's kind of done some good things. It's kind of done some mediocre things. Like there isn't a clear, decisive, this altcoin did the greatest. I mean, XRP did really good, but in my opinion, it's been Bitcoin, right? Wow, look at that. That's almost at the very bottom. That kind of aligns with what I'm talking about. I think we're very close to finding a bottom. Very, very, very close. We've been on the grind for a while. I think it's very close. I think it's closer than most people think. I think in general, right, you're going into Christmas, even for traditional stocks. I don't think it's great for the markets, if I'm being honest. Pardon me, I had to take a sip of coffee. I don't think it's great for the markets. People aren't investing. They're taking some money out. They're buying some Christmas presents. They're buying things for their wives and for their kids and things like that. And that's why you have a structure that looks like this. This looks pretty bearish, right? So let's flip this around and kind of see what we got, okay? That looks, honestly though, that looks like it, I don't know. There's two trains of thoughts going on in my mind right now, but kind of like a 1-2, 1-2. Pardon me. 1-2-7-2. I will say though, it did reach up. It did reach up to the 1-6-1-8. Not once, but twice. It tried to get up there. So far so good. You've gotten to your 1-6-1-8. You're looking for the 2. So about $68, I think. I think $68 is on the table. I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice, but these are just my levels, my ideas. Nothing, nothing more than that, right? Nothing more than that. I'm going to leave that 68 on there. I could put the 72, 77 on there as well. Okay. In terms of, there we go. Okay, cool. Cool. I'm going to leave this on there. I'm not going to actually draw any kind of I mean, I could do this. I really could do this. I mean, this is just asking to, you know, break out somewhere. We can leave that on there just like that. Okay. In terms of some retracement levels, right, where are we at? From the low to the high. We'll take this low to this high up through here. 382. Really need, before you think of anything going crazy, you got to get above this level, is 382. I'll put the 618 up here as well. Bingo. Okay, so we got some levels, some horizontal, so the way this channel works, the way that I operate is, I don't just say Litecoin is going to go to $1,000 or whatever. Right, it's in between two channels. It's in between 72 and 87. Closer to 72, so I'm expecting 72, then 87. Once you get to 87, the next target is 110. After that is 130. There's just levels to see how the price can react when approaching a line of resistance, key area. So in terms of this 1-2 that we're in, that I think we're in a 1-2. Let's say 70, let's be conservative and say 68 is the low. Wow, look at that 618. It's right at 129. That works, right? That kind of works. You got the 786 key area to get above. Make sure you're not in a retracement. And then we're going to come up through here. This 1618, 227. We'll do some two levels like that. You have levels up through here, 400 to 487. I think our pardon me. I didn't mute. Dang it. I think are on the table. But I'm just going to leave it pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Okay, so that's what I got right now for Litecoin. The daily's not going to change much. Daily's not going to change much. I mean, look at all this. You got bullish divergence all throughout down here. Do you have more bullish divergence? I think you do. Yes, you do. Yep, you do. You have more. I mean, it's not, if I'm being honest, if I sound unsurprised, it's because I am. It's everywhere. You got bullish divergence everywhere. And nothing is really acting out, right? If I'm being honest, right? You got higher lows on the Fu Manchu. You got lower lows on the price. If I sound frustrated, it's because I am, right? It's because, stablecoin dominance will show a glimpse of bullish divergence and it'll go crazy. It'll explode. And then you got, crypto, tons of cryptos where it shows bullish divergence after bullish divergence after bullish divergence and nothing happens. Nothing comes of it, So it's just, the charts, they're great. I don't know how great they are of, capturing actual crypto moves, right? I think the market makers just do whatever they want. They just kind of do whatever they want with the charts until there's some kind of legislation, something that's passed where they can't do that. I mean, TA is great, but understanding the macro, right? Bank of Japan. I keep saying Bank of China. Bank of Japan, more than likely hiking their interest rates for the yen carry trade on Friday. The Fed did cut interest rates on the 10th. They had their first buyback on the 12th of $16 billion. If you're not familiar with that, you can look into it. On Fridays, I release a macro lab for premium members. That's part of the Patreon pitch. We go deep dives. They're usually hour-long videos. We go over a bunch of stuff. And that's one of the perks. There's a couple other perks that I think, is well worth it. But I digress. In general, right, the macro I think is still bullish, and that's why I'm still bullish, right? Not just on crypto, on risk on assets, precious metals, stocks, traditional stocks, anything against the dollar. anything against stablecoin dominance, anything against stablecoins USDC, because both that and the dollar will die against inflation. Doesn't matter if it's called a stablecoin, it can't carry its weight, right? It'll lose to inflation. I digress. In terms of the 4-hour chart, if we invert this, let's look this at an invert. Yeah, that looks bullish. Sorry, I mean if you're looking like at a bear, that's a bear. Actually, I mean, you had this like head and shoulders pattern. It obviously didn't respect the pattern. Obviously, right? You got this W pattern that looks really nice into a head and shoulders, right? Kind of bouncing on support. This, on the other hand, is looking a little bit weak, right? That looks weak. That looks like it's almost. It just looks like it's almost done. Looks like it kind of wants a little bit more, like it's going to grind up a little bit more, right? And then once it gets up there, I think it's going to do something like that quick. Yeah, it's kind of what it looks like to me, at least. And to me, it looks a little bit just oversold, right? It's just oversold. There's not a lot of buyers. There's not a lot of sellers, right? Sellers are exhausted. Leverage is broke. Like, if I'm being honest, like leverage, I don't know how people are still leveraging. I don't leverage. I don't know if you could tell. I don't leverage. I don't advocate for leveraging. I think it's akin to gambling. I think gambling is dangerous for people, especially if you win on your first, right? When someone goes gambling and they win the first time, it's like, oh, that's the word. That's the most dangerous thing, because then you think it's easy. It's like, no, dude, it's not. Typically, you're a loser, right? I mean, just being honest, at the casino. But I digress. I'm just chilling like a villain. So we got something like that. I want to make sure this isn't on the weekly and ruining, or the daily, ruining all my charts. Don't be like that. Don't do that. So something like that. Maybe come down a little bit. Kind of oscillate down a little bit. Just grind. And then boom. That's the week of Christmas, though. I don't like that. Maybe the week of Christmas. The week after Christmas, but not the week leading up to Christmas, because people are taking money out to pay for presents and stuff. Dang, look at that. Wait, this is not supposed to be here. Well, that's indecisive. That's a teenager's mind right here. Red, green, red does not. I mean, you're more than likely going to get over freaking sold. If I'm being honest, more than likely going to get oversold, unless you're in some kind of, 1, 2. So you have an A, B, C, come back down for. If you get a double bottom, then you're looking like an M. Just doesn't look the greatest. So that's what I got for Litecoin. I got some levels to the downside, got some levels to the upside. If you're interested in, updates, that's for the Patreon members. It's, updated charts. You don't got to worry about waiting on videos. You just request it. I can update it. There's tons of other perks of doing that. If you're just interested in joining the free Discord, it's also in the description below. I appreciate you stopping by. I thank you for your time. I know it's been brutal, but, I'm sticking it out. I'm not going to flip-flop. I still think we're going to see some kind of reversal. And, until then, I thank you for your time. I thank you for stopping by. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take it easy. Peace.